General Andrews,
And the Dream Stream presents Rapid Runs!
It's your run, you.
Okay, gotcha. So anyways, I'm 16bitFerret. So first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go to options, put it to easy. We're going to set lives at 5 because we're going to be doing some death abuses. And we're going to be picking the character Blaze. So time is going to be starting once we're going to be able to have movement of our character. So it's about 6.75 seconds when we hit start here. So about there.
So right off the start, if you don't mind the question, what's the
Certainly.
difference between the characters? Because I know Max, I think, from Mania, but not Blaze.
It's basically it's like specials, the power of specials, powers of certain moves. So Blaze, she's the most well-rounded out of all of them, and that's why I like her. Plus, also, you know, it's fun to just do some of the things with Blaze. It's like the Hadouken. So
Are the
that's,
health values different too, or?
I'm gonna say I think yes. I just know that the damage value is different, the special values are different. That did not go off the way I wanted it to. Neither did that. Wow. Okay, this is not going according to plan. There we are. Boop.
Speaking of actually Genesis games, there's one called Twinkle that's really, really good that absolutely nobody runs either.
Really?
Yeah, it's a Japanese exclusive, and very sadly, the company that made it, I don't know without looking it up, but I'm pretty sure they made Twinkle and then they went completely bankrupt. It's kind of like Pocky and Rocky, but for Genesis, and
Oh!
it's quite decent actually.
So you'll see right here we're just wailing on Jack, right? And he's unable to do anything about it. Just because like in a lot of old beat 'em up games, there's that sweet little iframe window to where the boss is stunned and can't do anything about what you're doing to them.
It's kind of crazy, like how many hit stuns and stuff existed, considering how by design unfair some of these games were.
Oh, I know, right?
Like
I
they were
mean-
literally designed to be quarter suckers, and it's like, oh, you can just like light jab a guy to death, no problem.
Yeah, as long as you don't land the final hit blow, so it's 1, 2, 3, then 4, they go flying at 4. But if you go 1, 2, 3, stop, 1, 2, 3, stop, it just keeps going. It's like nobody thought about, you know, testing that back in the day. I mean, who would stop a combo at 3 hits? I mean, right?
Apparently not the developers. So.
Yeah. Alright, so we're already on to the first boss. So first boss, we're going to be using our specials on him. And what nice thing about him is he's not going to go that far because there's technically a wall right next to us. And that's going to be very beneficial for this boss fight and, let's see. I want to say boss fight of 5, but I hate the boss fight of 5. I just don't like Bear. And the reason why I'm saying that is because most boss fights are literally like how this area right here is, where it's open left and right. And so they can go flying off to the side and decide to take however long they want to take to come to you. Which is annoying, because you're wanting to go fast, you want to kick some can, and you want to just let out some rage. But unfortunately, if they decide to say, I'm not going to be around, you can't do anything about it.
Is there a lot of RNG in terms? Sorry, you go.
Actually, I'm actually thinking about it. Is there RNG? I don't want to say there really is much RNG with this. It's just things going awry from like patterns like changing and stuff from certain things. Actually, wait, there is one form of RNG, and that's going to be with the enemy known as Jet. Jet's pattern is always weird and different, and I just don't like Jet because I've got bad depth perception, and it translates over to 2D beat-em-up fighter games. Because he flies around as a jetpack and stuff, and I can never get it right.
See, like, the one thing that I've always kind of thought was really cool about beat-em-ups is the grouping of enemies.
Oh gosh, I love the grouping of enemies, of how they just decide we're gonna all just group up on them in a line.
Yeah, no, it's actually really cool because, like, that's something, actually in a lot of different ones, from obviously, like, Andrews and Turtles in Time, but just any random thing, how you can kind of, like, control where the enemies are all going to appear and then, like, kill them in literally a group. Like, is that something you do here?
Oh yeah, that is something that we do try to do, but there are moments where it does go off script. By us going a little bit too far over, or us not lining things up just right. I'm trying to do a backflip special on Jet, and unfortunately I'm failing. So we're gonna have to just go smack him down. There we go. And that's boss number 2 down. So the game does have 8 stages, and there are some bosses we are going to be seeing repeated several times. Actually, we see every boss repeated at least once. Well, except for the final boss, it is.
See, I don't know enough about, like, Streets of Rage lore. Is the final boss in this one, like, that guy with the machine gun?
Yes, actually
like,
that is, yeah, Mr. X.
Ah, okay. Yeah, and he sits on top of, I guess, like, that kind of, like, I don't know what kind of chair it looks like. It's a crazy
like
chair.
It's a throne pretty much on top of a giant building that has, like, it looks like it's completely just opened. So it's like, you can just fall and be like, well, this is my life. Bye.
Yeah. Like, that chair looks like it comes from, like, a country that no longer exists. Like, it's very draconian and archaic.
It looks like that's the only thing existing from that country.
Yeah, okay. So that's kind of cool. So did they carry that boss over from, like, the first, second, I think, third one and fourth one? Or is it all just...
Actually, funny you mention that. So, Mr. X is in 1, 2, and 3, but in Streets of Rage 4, they actually have it set up to where it's his kids. The Y twins.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Well, I will say, as fun as 3 is, 3 has an issue to where it's... If you don't play the game on the hardest difficulty, you're not going to get the good ending. The game makes you feel bad for being it on easy.
It's actually pretty crazy, too, like, how many games are like that back then. Because I can immediately think of, like, Batman and Robin and a bunch of other ones that were, like, basically locked behind the hardest difficulty.
Well, back then, like you said before, you know, these were quarter suckers, or games that you would need to keep on rinsing again and again from wherever you were renting your video games from. So they had to make it as difficult as they could for, you know, kids like us back in the day.
I don't know, that's a for real thing too. Like, when I joined Twitch, people were like, oh yeah, Blockbuster did that back then. I was like, really? But no, like, they actually did. Like, developers would make things for the rental market very, very difficult.
Yeah, a good example of that is, actually, I want to say, oh goodness, Rocket Knight?
That's a pretty hard one. I have a hard time going through that one without dying all over the place.
Same.
There is also The Lion King. I recently beat that just casually.
Ooh.
And there is seriously one part in The Lion King where I refuse to believe any kid beat it, first of all. But second, it's like in the 8th stage or something, and there's like almost has to be two frame jumps, almost like back and forth, like back to back,
Mhm.
sorry, or it's like two 1-frame jumps back to back. And it's like, no, this was it's impossible. I refuse to believe a kid did that back then.
The section I thought you were going to talk about was the I just can't wait to be king section of that game.
Yeah, I think the hippo tails there are also like 2-frame jumps or something stupid. So what is this giant claw thing?
Vecticus actually, this boss is designed off of like the Alien movies, believe it or not. It took inspiration from that. And if you want to know more about this game, like lore-wise, art-wise, and everything, General Andrews actually teamed up with someone, and they did a new to me. Wait, what was it called, General? I know you're on, right? Also, we're a little bit off script. That's okay. Gonna go towards away.
Oh, is that the one with Ash Said Hi? Or
Yeah, yes. I was drawing a blank on the name for some reason. Don't know why. But great series they did where they talk about... General talks about Turtles. She talks about Streets of Rage 2. And if you want to know about the music, the lore, go watch that right there. Highly recommend it. For me, this is just a game that I loved playing as a kid. And I was like, you know what? I just kind of got sucked into just running it.
so Final Fight, excuse me, and Streets of Rage are loosely connected universe-wise.
They are?
I'm not sure. I'm asking.
I don't think they are, no.
Oh, okay.
I will say one thing with this, though. The Japanese name of the game was Bare Knuckle Brawler. And you probably saw it in the arcade. The arcade cabinet saying Bare Knuckle. It's just for some reason when they translated it to America, they couldn't use that name for some reason.
Probably some obscure boxing game from like 1972.
Probably. So, the neat thing about this too is like, you think the levels are random, but the levels actually all fit into a story, because we start off on the streets, and then from there we end up into the construction site. After that, we end up going to the carnival. From there, we end up going to the baseball stadium. And it's us basically making a path to Mr. X's mansion. And it's just in a really weird way.
I always liked when kind of like developers did that. Out of all games, Ninja Gaiden 1 has the same thing where if you actually take like the map, it kind of like builds almost like an entire mountain all the way up to Jakia.
Really?
Yep. And like you would never know as a kid, but like if you actually stack it up on top of each other, it's like, oh, that's actually really cool they did that. But...
Same thing goes with that with me with this right here. Because as a kid, like, none of it made sense of how we got from point A to point B. As I got older, like, oh, this makes sense. Aw. We missed that little dude. And one hit left. Boop. And on to Big Ben.
like literally the clock.
Yep. And then bam. Down goes there. So, yeah, Bare Knuckle sounds like a movie name. It does. That actually might have what it been. It might have been like a movie that was coming out around that time and stuff. A US movie or something. Because I know, like, there's several games, like, they had to change the name of because of weird copyrights. Anyways, I'm getting off track. So right now in the story, we're pretty much making our way down to the secret underground fight club, which can only be accessed through the baseball diamond. I know, right?
Yeah.
It's a very weird town. And speaking of weird, story-wise, this takes place literally 1 year after the end of Streets of Rage 1. And what we're doing is we're basically trying to save our friend Adam, who was the other police member who helped us stop Mr. X 1 year ago. Now, no, I said 1 year ago. So, we went from saving the city to the city going back to being what it was, if not worse, with a 1 year's time frame. That just goes to show the control that Mr. X has over this town.
So are there any stages that are like particularly way harder than other ones?
Honestly, yeah, there definitely is, but it all depends on like your play style of it. For me, I really don't like stage 6, except for the boss. I love the boss of stage 6 because I'll explain it when we get to it, because there's some nice little jank with it. Wait, am I actually getting it? Oh, I had to speak too soon. This is one of the bosses that gives me a hard time to go. And, alright, nice, down they go. So we go from a fight club that's underneath the baseball stadium onto a boat. Because apparently there's a dock with that little fight club. It doesn't make sense, but it does in a way. It's weird. Also, you'll see us use specials a lot with this, and we know where every single health item is, and we will make an effort to grab them. Just like kind of like how in TMNT 4, where special moves, take health, and you need to eat pizza and stuff to get your health back up. Same principle applies. And whoop. And also the money you see on the ground too, that's basically just for high score stuff. But the nice thing with score though is if you hit X amount of points of score, you get an extra life for free. The typical old retro gamer, the typical old school game thing.
They're just eating kind of like that turkey dinner on the floor.
I mean, of course, man. I mean, who's gonna say no to some good street meat? I'm not gonna say no to street meat.
Hey man, that's how I survived university, so...
I mean, when you live in a world where Mr. X controls an entire town with an iron fist, you're not gonna question where you are able to fuel your rage to beat him down.
No, I question nothing. There was like some Fat Franks thing that was like a hot dog thing that just like lived outside of my university back then, and it was so good. So,
what?
I don't know. They made like the best hot dogs I've ever had, and I'm not really like a hot dog person, but they were just so good. I think it might be local, but they're just amazingly good. So I ate there way too often in university.
Also, I'm using the sword right now. Normally, I don't do this, but it's just super easy to deal with Jet right there. Because Jet's just... it's a pain on my butt, like I said before. Because... depth perception issues and stuff with me on weird things. And it gives me more of a range. Yes. Boop, boop. Come on, up. And bam.
I always love those like very awkward hold animations where they just kind of hug you for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I like that too, where the game, it gives you the opportunity to do a special out of it. And that's why it does that. It's like, okay, you can use your special and stuff to get out of here. Do you want to get out of here?
I always kind of looked at like Criminal Gore and had a sudden change of heart or something.
We need to get on the other side of Bear. That's not going to happen. Come on, Bear. Be nice to me, Bear, please. Actually, I'm going to take a death on purpose here, actually. Alright, good. So we're on the other side of Bear. We can then pin Bear against the wall. Or not. And down goes Bear. So
definitely
stage
see
6
that.
is going to be the beach. Bald bear. Actually, it's R. So I believe it's supposed to be red bear. Now, you actually asked if there's one section I don't like. Yeah, it's gonna be on the next screen actually, because yeah, the blue ninja right here. There's a orange one that comes up right here. After we beat this bear, like right here. This sucker likes to jump. So there's that, and there's also a biker section too that it drives me nuts. Because things can go so wrong on it if you're not careful. Also, you'll see that I jump like this. I jump into a karate chop down. The reason being is because if I jump into a kick straight out, what ends up happening is I end up having the enemy fly away from me. And if I just go jump straight down, like that right there, like how you saw them fly away from us, if you go boop, oh come on you. If you go jump and karate chop down, they don't fly back. They just take the hit. You can just keep on waylaying on them.
Yeah, there's some pretty mad active frames on that like jumping punch thing.
Yeah, like
Pretty much when she like extends it, it's just there until she lands. Like you kind of see why that's useful.
it's good. And we went too far. Wait. Come on, signals, line up. Yes. Ooh, okay. And last one. So close. So this is all on purpose. We're going to take a death up here soon. We're going to have to deal with a bunch of bikers and with another big bin. This is all on purpose. Because just like how the other fighting game beat 'em ups, when you go to a certain point, more start to appear. There'll be a moment in the next stage where we actually can stop a mini boss from coming in and joining the other mini boss and helping them. If we don't go past a certain line, so we use that to our advantage. Also, this is another section that's a bit of a butt because you have to take down that biker. The purple and the green, I almost said green, the purple and the yellow one, because if you don't, they'll keep on going by left and right.
Just like how the biker guys, like that was their entire life leading up to that moment. They just drove away.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like,
like,
we're here to kill plays. You know what? Nah. So,
now this fight, I both love and despise this fight. So you have both Jet and Nail here.
oh, okay.
So here's where it gets really cool. We could actually mess with Nail's pattern. Get close and jump away. They'll do a slash upward. And if you take down, he's called Souther in this fight right here. If you take him down instead of focusing on the other one, you automatically clear the stage. Because this level is set to where once that boss is down, it marks it as stage clear.
Very cool. Yeah, I wonder how that other guy died, but obviously I see from the explanation now.
I
You...
think it's out of loneliness.
Oh, he can breathe fire. Okay.
Yep,
I think
they
that's the
can breathe
first time
fire. But we weren't able to see it before and stuff because we're able to keep them pinned down. I don't know. I usually can just walk right past them. Typhoon, stop being a buffoon. Boop. Apples up here. Boop, there we are. Perfect. Take him out. Sometimes explosives can take out their own people. So, like, they're there, you know, throwing all those grenades, like, we'll stop them, right? As you can see, stops himself sometimes. The explosives don't just work one way.
I always thought that was like a very fair choice from the developers to allow like explosives to hit enemy units and stuff.
I thought so too.
Because a lot of games it's not like that. They can just like toss grenades forever and that's it. Like you just have to deal with it.
Yeah. And at least like in this old school game, it levels up the playing field. And bam. So now we're on to the last screen that's going to lead us to the boss of Stage 7. And this is going to be us doing a lot of refights. But it's going to be refights of mini-bosses. Correction, mini-bosses and the boss from level 2.
I mean, they shit like that Jet guy, huh?
Yeah, I don't like Jet. Jet just drives me so nuts.
Some developer was very proud of the creation here.
I mean, I hope they were.
I don't know. Either he was super proud and went on to make like 30 more video games, or he was super proud and never made another game after this.
We'll never know. And next is going to be Kickboxer. Kickboxer, he's also one of the few people that can actually block special and just say, get that crap out of here. Death is on purpose. That grab wasn't on purpose. And bam, 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 bam. And now we're going to be fighting up against Jack again. The first mini-boss.
So what's the difference between the left side of the screen where there's no wall and the right side of the screen where there's like an actual wall blocking it?
Oh, the difference is if an enemy gets stuck on this wall right here, I can just waylay on them and just keep them pinned against there. If they go to the left side, I have to wait for them to come back on screen or close to on screen for me to be able to hit them. And now on to what I call... You first, my bad.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say there's definitely no like invisible wall or something over there then.
Oh, I mean, there technically is, but it's just off screen.
I like how suddenly robots.
I know. I always love to call this Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah. Oh man, I haven't thought of them in a long time. Oh boy.
And then
suddenly robots, suddenly childhood memories.
Yep. Come close. Please no mace. Thank you. Also, these robots do have one slight annoyance with them. If you hit them mid-jump, they fall backwards. Kind of like a Weeble toy. And that's stage 7 done. We're already on the last stage. Making pretty good time.
Yeah, very clean so far.
Well, thank you. I actually feel quite proud of this.
What is your PB in this one?
My last recorded PB is like 31, but I have done some practice with it and stuff, and some new things with bosses that I've been doing with this run right here. So
this could potentially PB?
It could, yeah.
Right on. I hope so.
As long as I can get Shiva to cooperate, which Shiva can cooperate a bit more than usual now. And Bear Jr. here. Because, gosh, I dislike the bear enemies so much. That's kind of why I like using Pipe there, because it just gives me extra bit of reach. And now on to the boss refights. So we're basically in the elevator going up to Mr. X.
Mr. X definitely believes in his elevators, huh?
I mean, how else are you going to stop people from getting to you? Elevator.
Yeah, that's seems like a well thought out plan. It's not like it's accessible by everyone in the city or anything.
Nope. And this is a cheap strat right here. We can just pin him against the wall and keep doing this. And bam. I'm going to purposely let myself get killed here. Come on. This is all part of the plan. Okay, they went the other way. Go two, then back, up, into the wrong way. Whoop. So Nail has a very set pattern of what he does, depending on where you're at. So the best way to deal with him is just get close after you knock him down to special, and when he gets up, just jump away. Easiest thing to do, because what happens then his AI decides to dictate, okay, go for a jumping slash, because it registers that you're close by. Then, after we beat Macho Man, we're going to go on to fight some of Mr. X's goons, and then fight Shiva.
So is there loops for like every major boss in this game, technically?
Kind of. It's just knowing what the your iframe window is where you can abuse it.
Yeah, because it's kind of very similar to like Street Fighter, where there's like input reading going on if every single time you can force an enemy to do something like that.
Yep. And oh, I missed. That's on purpose. Burn through special. And then one more. Aw, so close. Come on. Almost. There we go. We should be in good position. And also, you actually can stun Mr. X too, by the way. It's just, he's got quite a reach on him.
Do his goons respawn, or...?
Oh, they keep on respawning. Like, there is no stop to the goons. It stops when you either win or you game over. And he is the cheapest boss. Well, obviously, because he's the last boss. Because, you know, he's the only one with a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, who allows someone to bring a gun to a fist fight?
Oh, Mr. X.
Exactly. Come on, Mr. X, play nice. I'm not very familiar with his stun pattern yet. Ooh, that's okay. He'll fall to the left. And time is going to be when you see stage 8 clear on screen. So time is right now.
GG.
Thank you. That's actually a pretty good run, despite having some things go wrong. So, pretty much what happens after we beat it right here is we beat Mr. X, we find Adam, I mean to say. And turns out he was just stuffed up in one of Mr. X's closets in his mansion. And we're able to get a helicopter rescue, and everybody's all, you know, happy and safe, and yeah, until, you know, the shenanigans happens in Streets of Rage 3.
So that was 32, so just shy of PB then.
Yeah, I mean, still felt pretty good. Still felt like it was a good showing of the game.